Good morning everyone, I'm here at Three Circles Recording Studio in Wimbish, Essex, UK. My name's Adrian Hare, and I've just built a few new preamps from AML from Manchester in England, designed and built by the lovely Colin Adshead. AML, Audio Maintenance Limited, go and check them out, they're brilliant. I've built some stuff from them before, namely their ez1073, but I've now just built 4 ez1081s, which are going to be hopefully my go-to preamps for drums. And today I'm just going to do a quick A/B shootout with them against my Apogee Mini MP Mic Pre's, which I consider quite transparent and clean. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set the drums up in the live room, split the channels, I'll show you the setup, show you the mics I'm using, and try and get the gains matched as possible so I can A/B between them. And I'm just going to do one performance on the drums so that the performance aspect doesn't change. So you'll hear the same performance through the pre's. So hopefully we can make a comparison between the two. I know a lot of people are interested to see what these are going to sound like on drums. So yeah, here we go. So while I rush around in the background there getting the drum kit ready, I thought I'd just make you aware that I am aware that this is a flawed test. I know this, I admit this. It is not an empirical test. It's very hard to match gains, so I'm doing it by ear and looking at the waveforms and doing it by eye. I know there are better ways of doing it, but frankly, I don't have the time or patience for it. It is just trying to give you a quick A/B comparison between two different mic pre's with the same signal. So with that caveat in place, I hope you can still glean some information about the sound and the tone of these mic preamps, which is what I'm trying to get across. There are 2 other caveats with this video. One is that I am not a world-class session drummer. Drumming is not my primary instrument at all. I'm a keyboard player. So, dodgy drumming aside, the other caveat is that this is not a world-class drum kit. It's not been tuned to do this test, and also the heads are probably in need of a change. They get used by lots of people here at the studio, so they're probably not in the best shape they could be. So with those 2 caveats in mind, hopefully you can get a quick comparison and just listen to the tone of the preamps. Got an Audix D6 in the kick. It's just inside, pointed slightly up towards the batter head. I've got a Bayer M201 on the snare, and I've got a pair of Coles 4038 ribbon mics on overhead duties, doing a Glyn Johns E type thing, recorder man-ish, both measured so they're equidistant from the snare. They are also going through this little gizmo here, the cloud lifter, which I like to use with them because A, it needs phantom power, so it means that you don't inadvertently give the mics phantom power direct and blow them up. So it's a bit of a safety net, but also it just increases the gain on them by about, I think it's 20 dB. So it just gives you that extra bit of juice out of them on preamps that don't necessarily have as much gain. So that's the mics, just 4 channels, and they're going into the splitter unit. Okay, so here's the mic splitter system. Forget all the top unit, that's just a live console I use. So I've just plugged the mics in to these channels. So we've got kick, snare, overhead left, overhead right. I mic and mix from audience perspective, so that's the way around the files are going to be. Okay, so there you have it. My admittedly very unscientific comparison between the AML, Audio Maintenance Limited, ez1081 Mic Pre, and my own set of Apogee Electronics Mini Mic Pre's. What do I like about them? Well, I like the fact that I really like them in the 300 ohm setting, especially on the dynamic mics and the ribbons, as you'd expect really. That just, for me, gives it a more open sound. I could hear a bit more of the room, I could hear just a bit more detail compared to the Apogees at their natural setting. You can't change the impedance settings on those. It's set out, I think it's 1600 ohms, 1.6 kilo ohms. So obviously, even when I changed the AML pre's to 1200, they're still different. So there's going to be differences with that anyway. But for me, the comparison at 300 compared to the Apogees was much more obvious than the comparison to 1200. At that setting, they sounded similar. And remember also that the Mic Pre is always the last tiny little adjustment. It's not the biggest change in sound as opposed to changing out the mic, changing out the player, changing out the instrument, obviously. So I really like them set at 300. I found them to be clear, have a little bit more in the low mids for me. And listening actually on the solo, on the kick and the snare, I found, especially on the kick, that you could almost hear the beginning of the saturation, almost like a little bit of compression kicking in, and you can hear this slight ducking of the ambient noise behind it, behind each hit. So that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your preferred choice of music, the recording style you prefer to recording. So that's a feature to be aware of. I thought that would suit my style, doing a lot of rock and pop stuff. So I like that. I like the fact that they're steps, so you can get into a working pattern of knowing what to reach for in terms of the gain setting. And yeah, I really like them. The other thing to love about them, obviously, is the price point. They're £200 a unit. You can buy them readily assembled, but I like to build my own gear. You own it then, emotionally and physically, and that's all part of the game, isn't it? I found the build process really easy, actually, I must say. The documentation that comes with the build, can't fault it. Even the resistors are already pre-trimmed in little bags, labelled. So props to Colin at Audio Maintenance Limited, and I even had a problem with one of the units. I couldn't get it to calibrate properly. Turns out one of my transformers was upside down. Silly mistake made at 5 o'clock in the evening after a long day of sitting hunched over a soldering iron. So my fault, but all credit to him. He was on the email straight away and helped me troubleshoot it as well, even though he doesn't offer tech support directly to people that are buying DIY kits. So all credit to the man. He's designed and built something brilliant. It fits perfectly in my API rack. They sound great. Would I buy some more? Absolutely. Love what he's doing up there. I've already got one of the other preamps, as I said earlier. So he's doing some great stuff, and yeah, some great little preamps. So as ever, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Any comments you've got, I'm probably looking at doing another video in the pipeline for maybe some acoustic guitar. I've already used these on vocals and they sounded great, so I've no hesitation in using them on a lot of sources, and they're going to be some real go-tos for me. So yeah, until next time, thanks for watching. Any questions, hit me up, and yeah, see you next time.